Episode 6, Part 2. 6 minutes of Spyro 2 Raptor's Rage. I might have a little bit more energy than I did in Part 1 because Part 1 was recorded at 20 to 1 in the morning. This is being recorded at 10 to 12 in the morning. I have slept since then, unsurprisingly. Let's get into it. Mostly the same as Part 5, as Episode 5 really. Just, we get to run around a bit more. Get screwed over by ladybirds, apparently. In terms of all three games, it's very interesting just how different the dynamic feels between all three of them. Like, Spyro 1 we're sort of just, always stuck in artisans and doing very little chunks of damage to that homeworld, and it's like, ugh. But then you've got Spyro 2 and Spyro 3, which are just so chaotic. But obviously, I don't like to spoil the other games, because hell, if you want to know what happened in the other games, go watch them, because there are three parts to each episode, so enjoy it. So far, so good, really, with all of it. It's also the most inefficient means of playing the game, but I don't care. I'm having fun with this. And it's like, obviously last episode we were sort of talking about the fact that, it's strange how I went from having, very little time to doing anything in the games to now I feel like sometimes I've got too much time. And, it's only a difference of 5 minutes, 300 seconds. Despite being inconsequential to the overall day, it's well, actually, it's quite important. I know that there was sort of a whole trend that was going by when it came to, people doing creative projects, and it was this is what I can do in 1 minute. This is what I can do in 10 minutes. This is what I can do in an hour. This is what I can do in 10 hours. It was interesting to see that, because it's you see some of the steps which go skipped in the really short time spans, but then you get to the hour and the 10 hours, and it's well, now you're just goofing off. So the question is, if we have more time, are we more likely to be inefficient with our time? Or is it because we have more time, we can pace ourselves better and work maybe happier? A bit of food for thought. I think there's been a lot of time philosophy within this series already. I assure you that won't keep up going forward, because at some point we'll just have so much time we can just dawdle and talk about whatever the hell we want. It's just at this point we're still having to focus a little bit just to make sure that we use our time wisely. Although I'm going to say this now, I think episode 7 is going to be quite interesting, because in the context of what we have been doing, it almost feels like we're sort of stretching it to its limit. So we'll see what happens. There's probably going to be quite drastic route changes. Meanwhile, I'm just enjoying running through the game as I always do. Not a lot really to note that was different here, just Glimmer took a bit longer. So I was looking at the clock there thinking, am I comfortable with going for these 30. I don't think I am. So I'm just going to settle with those little bits, and then we'll just head into here. Unfortunately, we're still stuck with ending on ocean. I can't really do much about that. It's the most efficient level for gems, but also kind of really inefficient for getting anywhere else. Although, thinking really late down the line, it's going to be interesting to see when Crush is actually going to be a viable option. Because generally speaking, so Autumn Plains does have some of the better gem levels compared to the likes of Summer Forest. But it's also the fact that we have to do Crush, and Crush takes up a lot of time. It you know, sort of similar to how Dragons work in Spyro 1. It's like, well, we got to deal with grabbing each individual dragon and routing them in. But we're coming to the end here. A little bit of extra time, unfortunately, but can't do much about that. Overall, we're looking at 12:47. We're not going to get through this loading screen. 6 minutes done. 12:47 recorded for Spyro 2. That's quite a lot. That is a lot of gems. That is an improvement of 226 over the 5-minute mark. Just to sort of give you a little update on how Spyro 2 is done. 1 minute, 192 gems. 2 minutes, 400. 3 minutes, 677. 4 minutes, 885. 5 minutes, 1021. And in 6 minutes, 12:47. That's a whole bunch of numbers.